Well, our persons of the week tonight are a group of young leaders celebrating the rich history of Juneteenth in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's annual Juneteenth Parade and Festival goes back more than 5 decades and is one of the largest and oldest celebrations in the country. Each year, the event, put on by the Northcott Neighborhood House, includes the crowning of Miss and Mr. Juneteenth, as well as Little Miss and Little Mr. Juneteenth. This year's theme, Juneteenth, Our History, Our Culture, Our Village, inspired the contestants to write 250-word essays.
An opportunity to inspire young people to try something new, to go against the grain, don't follow the crowd too much, but also to get involved in their community.
Because when we're not bored, when we're being productive, we're going to be great for our future.
Congratulations to all of the Juneteenth pageant winners for their accomplishments. And you deserve a break on food prices. We'll tell you some of the deals fast food restaurants are rolling out to lure customers back. Plus, guess who got engaged? The NFL feeling the love around the world this Sunday. Stephanie Sutton is next in Big 12 Sports.
Big 12 Sports, presented by Menards.
The Brewers are wrapping up their West Coast road trip on a high note after losing 3 straight and the series to the San Diego Padres. They avoid the 4-game sweep in the series finale today. Brewers bats on fire early on, putting up 5 runs in the 2nd inning, and that was the difference in this game, beginning with an RBI single for Sal Frelick. A little later, Bryce Terang, who had a grand slam yesterday with an RBI triple off of starter Michael King, adds to the Beer Makers' lead. Milwaukee starter Toby Myers gives up only 1 earned run in 5 strong innings and strikes out 3 batters. Let's go to our Rosen Automotive scoreboard. The Brewers avoid the sweep with a 6-2 victory. The Crew return home for a 6-game homestand starting tomorrow night against the Texas Rangers. Here's manager Pat Murphy after today's win.
Yeah, we were just kind of like chipping away and relentless movement, That's kind of our offense, and we're capable of that. But guys kept coming up and putting it in play. That's, gives you a chance.
Earlier today in Omaha, right here on WISN 12, University of Tennessee beats Texas A&M in Game 2 of the College World Series 4-1 to keep their season alive. South Milwaukee grad Nate Snead comes to the mound with the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning and gets 3 outs for the Vols to close out the game. The decisive Game 3 is tomorrow night. First pitch is at 7 o'clock. Night 1 of the NBA draft tips off this Wednesday night right here on WISN 12. The Bucks own the 23rd overall pick in the first round and the 33rd pick in the second round. I caught up with NBA analyst and former Buck Tony Smith and asked him about the Bucks and the draft. Who do they need? What are their draft needs this year?
They need some youth and size around that 6'8" size, that small forward. Middleton, we know his history with injuries recently. He's getting up there in age as well, so he's not going to be able to tow such a load coming up. You're going to have to get a guy to groom him to take Middleton's spot and to spare some minutes for him. Also at the point guard, we don't know what happened with Pat Beverly. He's also 35, another old guy. They're going to need a point guard to come in there to play some backup minutes.
As I mentioned, the first round of the 2024 NBA draft will be right here on WISN on Wednesday night. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. This year's draft will span 2 days. Round 2 is on Thursday. And coming up in our second half hour, Dario Melendez goes one-on-one with Bucks GM John Horst. And finally, it's not football season yet, but it was a big Sunday for 2 NFL stars. First, Jordan Love is engaged. The Packers quarterback posted these photos on Instagram today with his now fiancée, Ronica Stone. Stone is a pro volleyball player for the San Diego Mojo. Love captioned the photo, "First step to forever." And Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce on stage with his girlfriend Taylor Swift at the Eras Tour. He spent the first few concerts in London in the VIP tent. But tonight he performed and was actually a part of the show. I knew I should have pitched this to our news director that I needed to go to Italy and England and cover the NFL, but I just didn't do it.
There's a lot of NFL news today.
Love is in the air.
Stuff.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Steph. Well, we continue to follow storm damage from this weekend. We'll show you where a Wisconsin church was destroyed last night and how the congregation is keeping faith in the middle of the disaster. And police tackled protesters in the middle of a PGA tournament. The message those protesters were trying to get across.
leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 10.
Tonight, parts of Wisconsin are cleaning up storm damage after at least 6 tornadoes hit last night. But members of one church in western Wisconsin are mourning the loss of their house of worship. The Apple Grove Lutheran Church in Argyle took a direct hit last night. It was reduced to rubble. That church was built in 1893, and members of the congregation say its spirit will survive.
We know that we have that firm foundation of hope here at this church, and that hope will endure forever.
The National Weather Service will be in Argyle tomorrow to see if the storm that destroyed the church was in fact a tornado. And closer to home, the National Weather Service says an EF1 tornado hit part of Walworth County last night. Here's some video of the damage in Williams Bay, just a couple of miles away from the tornado's path. The storm was strong enough there to make one woman's home unlivable right now.
One of the bedrooms on our upper floor is completely flooded. The roof in that area is gone. And pretty soon the water is going to start coming down into the first floor, and the trusses up on our second floor look like they're bowing and not very stable. They have to send a structural engineer out to take a look before anybody can come back in.
And in Pewaukee, more trees fallen. No tornado confirmed, though, in Waukesha County. One resident sharing these pictures of a tree that fell on his car. He's cleaning up today. Many other areas in Pewaukee have trees twisted and snapped, covering yards with debris. Meteorologist Gino Recchia joining us now. Gino, you're already tracking more storms this week.
Yeah, we're going to at least start off tomorrow nice and quiet. We do have a few little isolated pop-ups just to the west of us near Dane County, and there are a few little sprinkles up towards Fond du Lac. But overall, it's been a pretty quiet day, and we're going to start off tomorrow very similar as well. But then as we head into the overnight Monday into Tuesday, that's when we're going to be watching the radar very closely, especially in northwest Wisconsin near Superior, Hayward, and how that line of thunderstorms will work its way down to the south. So that's certainly that potential, and some of those storms could be on the strong or even potentially severe side. We've got a level 1 out of 5 for pretty much all of southeastern Wisconsin, but it's this area right here where that line of storms will make its way down to the south. Still some question marks. What's going to happen with that thunderstorm cluster as it moves further south once the sun sets? Is it going to hold itself together? Is it going to fall apart? We'll have to watch and see. Then on Tuesday in the afternoon and evening, as a cold front moves down to the south, where that a second line of thunderstorms starts to fire up. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center actually shifts this further down to the south based on the latest trends. We'll have a final look at your forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thanks, Gino. And a weather-related disaster in Saudi Arabia, where the Muslim pilgrimage to the Mecca, known as the Hajj, is going on right now. The Saudi government says more than 1,300 people have died in the extreme heat. Most of those who died are considered unauthorized pilgrims. That is, they came without having a place to stay and could not escape the heat. But one American woman says she lost both of her parents, even though she thought they made the right plans.
You know, they saved their life savings. I think it was about 11,500 per person that they've saved their entire lives to. They've saved their entire lives to embark on this journey, and they didn't receive the proper preparation, the proper documents. It was just a nightmare overall experience of a trip.
Temperatures have reached 120 degrees during this year's pilgrimage, and protesters temporarily stopped a major golf event today. Environmental activists set off some kind of smoke and powder on the 18th green at the Travelers Championship in Connecticut. They were protesting against climate change. Security quickly tackled and arrested the protesters. Now, the tournament continued. Scotty Scheffler won. The Chicago Parks Department reopened Buckingham Fountain today after somebody dyed the water red on Saturday. Crews had to drain and replace about 1 million gallons of water and make sure the dye didn't stain the marble stone. Workers found pro-Palestinian graffiti around the fountain, but nobody has claimed responsibility, and police have not made any arrests. Well, with 3 weeks until the Republican National Convention, the Secret Service is finally releasing detailed security zones for the big event. event. These zones give us a better idea of where movement downtown will be restricted. Now, the tightest security zone will be in the red on your screen, that area directly around Fiserv Forum, Panther Arena, and the Baird Center. Demonstrators will be limited to 2 areas, Haymarket Square at McKinley and MLK, and Zeidler Union Square at Clybourn and Vel R. Phillips. Those protesters are outraged, saying the designated free speech areas are insulting.
The city has decided to completely ignore our asks, our demands, and our First Amendment rights. The proposed protest routes are completely unacceptable.
After months of heated discussion and a lawsuit against the city, the Coalition to March on the 2024 RNC are furious. They want to be closer to the action.
Even with all the amplification systems that we're buying out, even with the speakers that we have, there is no way that they will be able to hear us within sight and sound.
Speakers and marchers will be allowed in a space south of the Baird Center at and around Zeidler Park. A second area is just north of Fiserv at Haymarket Square.
I would challenge anyone to find a place closer to there with sightlines directly looking at Fiserv Forum.
Law enforcement and the Secret Service working closely as the high-stakes event descends on the city.
The RNC is a National Special Security Event, or an NSSE, which is a title designated by the Department of Homeland Security for events that rise to the highest level of national intelligence or national or international significance.
Those living, working, or visiting downtown should know about the 2 zones. The red zone, directly around the arena and convention center, will be open only to pedestrians with RNC tickets or credentials, such as delegates or volunteers. In the broader yellow zone, public will be allowed from Cherry South to Clybourn and from 9th Street East to the river. Vehicles will be screened at 5 checkpoints.
Let me be clear. We will not tolerate any acts of violence, any destruction of property in our city.
Organizers with the coalition say they expect anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 people in Milwaukee to protest the RNC. They tell me they plan to ignore those designated areas and march from Red Arrow Park to Wisconsin Avenue on the first day of the convention. And 50,000 people are expected to be in Milwaukee for the convention. They're all going to need somewhere to stay. As 12 News' Kendall Keys reports, homeowners are hoping to cash in on a rental rush.
Then there's, of course, the convention. Then later in July, we have...
Adam Reek manages about a dozen rental properties in Milwaukee.
We are a full-service short-term vacation rental management company here in Milwaukee.
He takes care of properties like this one on Kenilworth on the east side, listed for rent during the Republican National Convention.
The rates for this house will probably settle somewhere in the $1,500 a night range, which is about 3 times, the norm for a normal weekend.
Full-time renters like Reek and now homeowners are getting in on an RNC rental rush.
Take a look at this house. It's in Whitefish Bay and its owners are asking $3,500 a night.
I heard other people doing it and I thought it might be a good idea to earn a little bit of money during the summer.
Laying out the welcome mat for RNC guests who are willing to pay.
I thought that our price was pretty competitive.
The price, how does it compare to, say, putting it up for rent on a weekend when the RNC is not here?
So yeah, it's about 10 times the price. It's a lot more.
Gretchen Siemens decided last week to list her home on Airbnb.
My friends think I'm crazy, but I hear that the hotels are already full.
It seems that every corner of the metro area is trying to get in on the act, like this 3-bed Charmer in Tosa for $1,000 a night, and this 5-bed in New Berlin, $2,500 a night.
For those looking to be closer to the action, we found a property just across the river from Fiserv Forum. They're asking $10,000 a night.
I think a lot of folks, us included, have had our prices really kind of elevated for months now in anticipation of this, really unique event. It's probably going to fall a little bit short of where a lot of people's hopes were, but it's still going to be a great event.
Airbnb rentals during the week of the RNC range from less than $100 a night to $10,000 a night. And fast food restaurants are offering you a price break. We'll tell you about the new deals designed to lure you back.
Get closer than ever to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and beyond with our free Very Local app. New sites, new flavors, and new adventures right in your backyard. Scan the QR code and stream like a local.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. A new edition of Upfront is just moments away.
The campaign trail heating up this weekend. North Dakota Governor and potential VP pick Doug Burgum in Wisconsin today. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer here campaigning, and they are both our exclusive guests.
Then MPS in crisis. Now the state superintendent is one-on-one with us. Upfront is all new next at 11.
And now to the fast food wars heating up as a major chain is trying to win customers strained by rising food costs. McDonald's, the latest to launch a $5 deal. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Inflation fatigue hitting consumers looking for a quick meal. From grocery store prices to those skyrocketing fast food meals. As the current inflation rate sits at 3.3%, food away from home is 4% higher than it was about a year ago, creating a huge buzz on social media.
Can we talk about how ridiculous fast food prices are anymore?
Fast food chains feeling the heat and bringing back the deals. On Tuesday, McDonald's kicking off their meal of the season at participating locations, which includes a double cheeseburger or chicken sandwich, small fries, 4-piece nuggets, and a small soft drink for $5. Several other fast food chains, including Wendy's, Burger King, and KFC, also bringing back deals from their value menus for meals $5 or less.
The fast food chains want to keep customers coming to their stores. They need to have people coming. So by promoting a value meal, for example, you're going to attract more attention.
Starbucks with a crave-worthy pairings deal at participating stores, 1 drink and